Welcome to Through the Drama. Chris Harrison and Lauren Zima with you on this Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend, a wonderful Father's Day weekend.
Did you have a wonderful Father's Day?
I had a phenomenal Father's Day weekend.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw on social media.
Wait, you're saying weekend. Is Father's Day a weekend now?
Well, I mean, I guess the whole weekend was kind of Father's Day, but I had a great Father's Day yesterday. Sunday was a phenomenal day. If you saw on social media, we got a little bit of severe weather in Austin. If you know me at all, you know I'm a weather geek. So
this is such a dad thing.
I had U.S. Open golf. I had my weather app up. If Band of Brothers had been on, it just would have been the trifecta.
I would say that my dream brand deal is Home Goods and your dream brand deal is the Radar app. If they are interested in sponsors or integrated brand content, this is your guy. You open the weather app like multiple times a day, every day.
I've already checked it this morning.
It was such a cute dad moment. And you know what? We did a cool thing we've done a couple times before. I highly recommend. We had a joint Father's Day celebration with some of our friends and their kids. And that makes it I think that allows the dads to watch the U.S. Open a little. Although I give you guys credit, you cooked. On Father's Day, the weight of the cooking is on the dads. You grilled, you did a fish fry.
We did. We had all of our kids were in town. Josh and Taylor, of course, were here with us. And,
and let me bring up something that'll make you happy.
What?
You told me the U.S. Open had a really strong dad moment.
It did have a great dad moment. There was a really cute story. So JJ Spawn ended up winning the 125th U.S. Open at Oakmont. It was the carnage we all expected, and we talked a little bit about last week how hard it was. And JJ Spawn, I don't know if he won as much as he survived, and he was the last man standing, but it was really cute because obviously it was Father's Day yesterday. He has two beautiful daughters. And afterwards, he told everybody in the press conference that his wife woke him up at 3 a.m. This is the biggest night of his life. He's playing in the final round of the U.S. Open. He finally has a chance to win. He's never won. He almost quit the game. He's this is a life-altering moment.
This is a movie.
His wife wakes him up at 3 a.m. because dad moment, his daughter is puking everywhere. She can't keep anything down. So he was up all night on the biggest night of his life. And he did start a little rough. And he said maybe that was probably the problem. But maybe that also just kept his mind off of what he had to worry about that day.
Can I ask a parenting thing?
Yeah.
Would you have just powered through and not told him about her being sick?
There's no, I don't know the living situations.
Okay.
You know, my guess is there's probably no way to avoid the fact that your daughter is just up puking all night long. And here's my other thing as a dad. How do kids know? How do they know when you have the most important moment and they just know how to start throwing up?
Is that God testing you?
Yes, they know. It is amazing how uncanny it just always seems to
Well, I always say parenting is the toughest job in the world, and maybe that's why he survived the hardest U.S. Open in history.
Yeah, there you go. So congrats to JJ Spawn. I hope his daughter's feeling okay.
Wanted to run through a couple cute celebrity Father's Day moments. I absolutely loved, I wouldn't cute, yes, deep, more so. I loved this post from Rumor Willis. Of course, we all know that Bruce Willis, a beloved famous actor, has been battling an issue with dementia in the past couple of years. Yeah. He's facing this illness. And she posted, "Today is hard. I feel a deep ache in my chest to talk to you and tell you everything I'm doing and what's going on in my life, to hug you and ask you about life and your stories, struggles, and successes. I wish I asked you more questions while you could still tell me about it all." And she goes on to talk about how grateful she is and she has great perspective. But I loved that she shared that because, of course, I think a lot about the grief part of Father's Day, not having my dad. But I thought she really shone a light here on what it's like to lose someone when they're still here. There's different ways of grieving, and some losses are sudden, shocking, some are slow. But, you know, a lot of people struggling with things like Alzheimer's and dementia, you're really losing that person while they're still with us. And I thought it was beautiful that she shared about that because you could be keeping that battle private, but it really made it okay to acknowledge that that's a version of grief too.
You've taught me this, and I think because of you and your dad and losing your dad at such a young age, it's helped me communicate better with my dad and ask him questions. Because kind of what Rumor Willis was talking about right there, she wished she could, tell him things and talk to him and ask him so many questions that she can't anymore. And I know you've said the same thing about your dad.
It's so hard because I think we don't. If you're lucky to have your parents around long enough, yes, have that realization and do that. Because I look back and think, I lost my dad so young. I was still such a selfish kid. Yeah. I didn't have the life perspective and the big picture to ask him some of that stuff. There's a million things I would love to get his advice on now. So again, all our love if you were having a tough Father's Day in any way. I also wanted to bring up Kevin Costner's Father's Day advice. In a new interview with People magazine, they asked him his biggest takeaway from parenting.
Did you know he was a father of 7? I did not know that he had 7 kids.
I actually did. Yeah. I don't know why. I can't lie.
I thought it was a random. I'm like, wow, 7 kids. That's a lot.
Kevin's busy. Yeah. He's 70. I didn't know he was that old. He looks good. Wish that last season of Yellowstone had been better. Not to bring up a sore subject.
God, that show misses him so much.
I didn't even watch the last season. So Kevin said that what he's learned from parenting is that you love your kids the same, but you treat them differently. Yeah. And I think his note there was...
So you find ways to do that without treating them all the same, was his quote, which is kind of interesting.
Do you agree?
Very much so. You know, I think you have this idea that you're going to love your kids the same and treat them the same, and it will be the same. And it couldn't be further from the truth. And I do agree with him is that you have to, you know, I think when you're young, and I started parenting like this, where it's like black and white, and it's like, it's my way or the highway. And you quickly learn that's not how
it doesn't work.
That's not how humans work. That's not how anybody works. And so you have to find different ways in. I think that was a pretty poignant Father's Day point.
I'll quote my mom, Donna Zima. Turns out she feels the same as Kevin. What she always told me is first you learn to parent, and then you learn you have to parent each one differently. Yeah. And so thanks again to the moms and especially the dads of the world. And when we come back, do you have something to be afraid of in the future of parenting? Mattel, our favorite Barbie maker, is taking things down the AI road. What they have planned, that's next.
Welcome back. LZ, I want to start this segment with a very simple question to the people, especially the tech people out there in the world. Has anybody seen a movie? Have you ever seen Terminator? You ever seen the movie Chucky? We know how this ends. We know how it's going to end. And yet Mattel is tempting fate.
We're so screwed.
I mean,
I'm so scared. I have to admit, okay, this is kind of part of a bigger conversation. And we want to get an AI expert here on the show. I was surprised in our most recent presidential election. I guess he's looking at me like, where are you going with this? Yeah. But
no, I know what you're going to say.
How was AI not more part of the conversation?
Right.
There was so much drama, so many things we were dealing with back and forth. How was AI the thing facing us on a level like the Industrial Revolution? How was the regulation of AI not more of a plot point in who we were going to elect? And it really bothered me. And yet, you know, I kind of think, well, I'm not going to shout into the void. I'm an entertainment reporter. And what impact do I have here? But this is huge. So our world is changing.
What kept us up last night? And clearly what's got us up
When I
this
say
morning.
What kept us up, I slept 2 hours last night. I'm not joking. I'm struggling right now.
The toy maker Mattel has
turning on us all.
Has partnered with OpenAI to develop generative AI toys and games. Now, Mattel, of course, famously makes Barbie, the American Girl doll, a lot of your favorite board games and so forth.
They also said this new partnership will affect Hot Wheels. Mm-hmm. So everything from cars to dolls. And their statement says, by using OpenAI's technology, Mattel will bring the magic of AI to age-appropriate play experiences with an emphasis on innovation, privacy, and safety.
I don't want to make this all about Father's Day, but dads, how many of us have been so creeped out? You walk into your kid's room and you see a doll and it scares the heck out of you. Well, how much is it going to scare you in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. when Barbie comes walking into your room and starts talking to you?
Barbie is the new Chucky.
Or Hot Wheels just drives in, the super truck plows over you.
I feel a little bit like, again, similarly to our election, when a lot of us were going, hey, we see this thing, we see through this. Like, it just feels like these bigger powers that be thinking they're pulling the wool over our eyes. I mean, an emphasis on innovation, privacy, and safety. This is totally uncharted territory.
Right.
Everything is about to change, and you're telling us that the emphasis is on privacy and safety. We know you're a for-profit company. We know the emphasis is on making money. And it really I mean, honest, CBS News is writing this, and even in their article, I felt like you could kind of feel the way the writer was feeling about it. The writer wrote, initially promoted as a way to automate mundane tasks and free up humans to do more creative jobs, generative AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated and capable of doing more. It scares me. It really does. And I don't even know what that looks like. Like, what does it look like that AI becomes part of a Hot Wheel?
I don't know. I mean,
are the toys all going to become robots?
Well, I think the idea too with generative AI is that it continues to grow, it continues to evolve, it continues to think.
Oh, so Barbie's going to learn.
So Barbie's going to learn.
We already had President Barbie, but now she really will be running the country.
This is
okay. Okay. No shade to Barbie.
No. Look. It's not about Barbie. And ironically, the Barbie movie was on last night, and I'm like, is that where we're headed?
I really do want to get an AI expert on the show, and I want to give a shout out. The man known as the father of AI, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, is on a new episode of, I think, the Diary of a CEO podcast. His advice from the clip I saw is learn to be a plumber. And that's how you'll still have a job in 2 years.
Yeah,
the
man who created it quit so he could warn us all about what he created.
Like you said, have we seen a movie?
I know.
You want to know something scary? I noticed the other day, the movie The Terminator was set in 2029.
You told me that, and it kind of freaked me out.
So what do we have? We have 4 years?
4 years. 4 good years left, people. Let's enjoy it.
Why am I... You know what? We're going to start doing this show from the beach with tequila, because what are we doing? All right. Speaking of...
Yes, a cautionary tale.
A cautionary tale. And, maybe this will help us all wake up. The new Toy Story movie announced in August that their villain in Toy Story 5 will be an iPad. Well, now we have more details. They've released some new footage of Toy Story 5 last week at a conference. And we now know that the villainous iPad is called Lilypad.
Yeah.
It's kind of a frog-shaped iPad. And Buzz and Woody, very cute. Buzz and Woody seem to, they're going to have to battle technology as the new toy kids are playing with.
So the frog-themed tablet, Lilypad, is trying to convince the child in the movie that you don't need to play with toys anymore. You need to just socialize. You need to text your friends. So it is the I guess the modern day battle that parents always have to fight. First of all, love Toy Story. It was around. It began when the kids were young, and so we saw all of them. And of course, as parents we're sitting in the back just crying. Like,
I think this is very apropos.
So this will be a battle versus technology.
I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry. I'm tired because I'm scared of AI.
Well, the good news is pretty soon we won't have to host this show anymore. You'll just have a couple of AI bots up here.
I remembered it. Thank you, honey. I love you. Okay. I want to talk to an AI expert. I wanted to also talk to just a senior citizen. Hear me out.
Okay. We have a couple of those in our lives.
Is this what every generation battles with, like, the fear of technology is going to change everything? And, listen, nobody felt safe when the Cold War was happening. And when cars first got introduced, people probably thought this is going to ruin our lives. But am I being negative? Do I need to lean into AI's happening and let's embrace it and it's just the next wave of technology? I fear that I don't think our brains have caught up with the technology, and I don't think it's good for us socially.
I think many things can be true at one time. I think definitely there is the old man get off my lawn mentality that we have.
I am now Clint Eastwood.
Yes. And so I do think there is a level of that we are more afraid of the possibility of the future as opposed to just understanding that there has always been change. When computers came around.
Here's what scares me. That the guy who came up with it says we should be scared.
That's true. That is a pretty big red flag.
Henry Ford wasn't like, fear the car.
By the way, the Toy Story 5 comes out this time next year. If we're all still around. June 19th in 2026.
Okay, from villains in animated movies to villains on our reality TV screens, the new cast of the next season of The Traitors has been revealed. Wanted to talk about it in part because our guy Colton Underwood is going to be on it.
I'm glad we can finally talk about this. I talked to Colton on the phone, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and he told me he was going to do this. He'd gone back and forth if he was going to do it, and he said, because he asked my opinion when he was finalizing the deal, and I said, absolutely. I think it's a fun game, and it's a fun watch. And I'm interested to see how he goes in and plays this. Colton's a very smart guy. Will there be a fence to jump? Will he repeat that feat?
In
like he did on The
Scotland, it would
Bachelor?
be like a stone wall that he'd have to jump.
Jump over the moor.
They definitely, they're really with this show, and I need to catch up on it because I only watched the first season.
Right.
I can't tell if it's hit mainstream or if it's just kind of the Peacock niche fans, but they really check a box of someone from The Bachelor, some Real Housewives. This season, they have Dorinda Medley, Lisa Rinna, Portia Williams, Candace Dillard from The Real Housewives.
2 figure skaters, which is really odd. They had that you have Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir.
Well, they've always kind of stuck around in the reality world.
And then, by the way, I think the big one, the big get, is Mama Kelsey.
She really is.
Jason and Travis Kelsey's mom, Donna Kelsey, who we see all the time at the games, rooting her boys on, is going to be on a reality show. And I love this. I'm all here for this because she is a character.
The question is, do they make her a traitor? Because she's sort of known as this super sweet person, right? So it's like, do you just let her be super sweet, or do you make her play that game of trying to convince people that she's not a traitor?
The ultimate goal is just keep her around as long as possible.
Yes.
Whatever we have to do, keep Mama Kelsey alive and on that show. I think it's a great cast. The show, you can tell the show is leveling up by the cast. It's a solid cast this year.
Very much. Like I said, I need to catch up. I loved the first season. All right. Moving on now to a little age-defying double date. Brad Pitt is 61. Went on a double date. His girlfriend is 32.
Yes.
And they went out with Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid, who are 50 and 30. And I got some texts about this. People were asking me, what do you think of this double date and these age gaps? As I always say, we have an age gap. Kris and I are about 15 years apart. I don't have a problem with it. Here's why. This is always my golden rule of age gap relationships. Right. If you're in your 30s, I'm okay with it. When people are in their 20s and dating someone much older, that's when I think this is a disaster waiting to happen.
And I think when you're Brad Pitt and you're 61 and you're Brad Pitt.
And you're Brad Pitt.
And you look like Brad Pitt.
Because the thing is, you're Brad Pitt.
And being Brad Pitt, that is... that's the loophole right there. That trumps all.
I'll be honest.
Brad Pitt trump card.
The same rule
although I don't know why he's wearing my great-grandmother's couch.
In that blue outfit?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can pull that back up.
Yeah. His fashion, he's missing a little bit right now on the fashion, Brad.
This is how he's always been, though. If you go back to like 90s Brad Pitt magazine covers, he's always been a bit of a fashionista. His girlfriend is absolutely beaming in every one of these photos. But again, can you blame her? She's with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I don't think the same rule applies to Bradley Cooper.
No, because even Brad Pitt looks good in my great-grandmother's couch.
Okay, well, when we come back, could Brad Pitt be taking on a different relationship? The co-star he said he could reunite with. That's next. Back with more drama to get through. So Brad Pitt, if you remember, starred in Interview with a Vampire with Tom Cruise, 2 very sexy vampires. Brad got asked during the promotion of his new F1 movie. E! News asked him, would you ever reunite with Tom? Because they're both still very much working actors. Brad's answer is so funny. He says, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, like, only if he stops hanging out of planes and crap. Like, he swore in there. I don't want to swear.
If we can do a movie on the ground, then I will do this movie.
Would you like to see the two of them reunite?
100%. They're 2 of the best actors of our generation, just 2 of the most iconic names in the business. Give us what we want.
And 2 people still holding on to being blockbuster movie stars.
That's true.
We talk a lot about how we're not really in the age of the movie star anymore, but people like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, they can still put butts in seats. I want to see this powerhouse reunite, and I think it would get people into movie theaters and be good for the business.
What duo would you like to see, man or woman, getting back together?
You know, I was thinking about this, other actors to reunite, because on Father's Day, Father of the Bride was on.
Yes.
I would love to see Steve Martin and Diane Keaton back together.
They were so good.
Is it time for Grandfather of the Bride? Like, they remade the movie a couple years ago with Andy Garcia, but I actually just want another sequel. Steve Martin and Martin Short were amazing in those movies together, and they still do Only Murders in the Building. I'm ready for Grandfather of the Bride. What about you?
I don't know why Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito came to mind. Remember when they did Twins?
Yes.
I don't know if we need another duo together.
You know what? They just had this cute little moment during Variety's Actor on Actors. They were both doing the interviews, and Variety posted a clip of them hanging out behind the scenes together. And they were so instantly so funny with their banter. It did make me want another movie.
Maybe they can just do a Jersey Mike's commercial together.
I have a lot of good ideas today. Twins, give us triplets. I'm ready. Who's a third one to bring in? Why not?
You're so great on 1 hours. Just the ideas keep coming.
Okay.
Before we go, I do want to show this bizarre event that took place in New York City over the weekend, the Pedro Pascal lookalike contest. And a couple of things struck me here at the Pedro Pascal lookalike. How many Pedro Pascal lookalikes there are in New York, and how many people showed up to this?
Like good ones. Is it the hipster vibe of the mustache and the glasses and you look like Pedro Pascal? It's sort of like putting on glasses and being Superman.
By the way, is the real Pedro Pascal here?
Okay.
We have no idea.
The winner is in the sleeveless black shirt. And if you just showed me a quick clip of that, I would have thought that was Pedro Pascal. He looks so much like him.
There's 6 guys right there, I think, are Pedro Pascal.
No, babe, you know this is a thing now. Like they did a Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest.
But look at how many people are the streets of New York. There's a lot to do in New York.
People
we're not like in Hoboken. We're in New York City. There's so much to do on the weekend, and there's hundreds of people piled into this street to see.
Do you think it's because in New York, if you see something happening, you just stop and watch?
I do believe that in New York, when I see a line, you just get in it.
You get in it.
By the way, what did he win? $50 and a year's worth of burritos. That's what the Pedro Pascal guy won.
That doesn't feel very Pedro Pascal. I feel like he needed to win a really chic wardrobe or something.
Nope.
I don't think burritos and Pedro Pascal.
How much is a year's supply of burritos? Is that just as many as you can eat in a year?
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on how many and where they're from, how many you're eating a day. It's a lot of beans. a lot of beans. I don't think Pedro would approve.
Great Father's Day weekend. Thank you, LZ, for making it such a great day, celebrating the kids. And really appreciate all of you being here on this Monday and watching us each and every weekday right here on Merit. You can also listen to us wherever your favorite podcasts are found. We will be back tomorrow.
Because we have a lot more drama to get through. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. My network, Merit TV, has it all.
Now, let me blow your mind.
Merit TV's got the news that matters.
The selection of a new pope.
Entertainment you crave.
Busted.
Everybody in a good mood today?
And live events.
Surprise.
What am I, chopped liver?
With serious punch.
Big shot.
Go to merittv.com and download the Merit TV app today.